So, welcome everybody to Becoming a Wise Agent. My name is Brandon Wise. I'm the CEO and founder of Wise Agent CRM. And this podcast is called Becoming a Wise Agent. Kind of the goal that we have every time we do this podcast is to bring interesting people from within our amazing industry on that are willing to share true actionable advice, things that you can take home and work on right away. And that's kind of why I am so excited about today's guest, because today's guest is, as you know, Jared James. If you don't know, you're gonna know soon. And if you aren't currently following Jared, you need to follow him on whatever social media you're on. He has truly spent his entire life in the real estate industry, brought up in the industry. I've been following him for over 20 years, and he's truly, whenever, in this industry, we all hit slumps, and it's hard as an entrepreneur and sometimes lonely. And he's the guy that I turn to every time over the 20 years. Whenever I'm in one of those moods or just needing to know where to go from here, I can just pull up his videos and type in whatever my questions are and watch him for a couple minutes, and I get excited. And I've talked to brokers and agents all over the country that have the same story. Because of Jared, I'm where I am today. So it truly is an honor to have Jared James on. So truly my pleasure to introduce Jared James. Thanks for
Dude,
being with us today,
that is
Jared.
such a nice intro, man. Like, for real. Thank you. I appreciate that. You and I do go, I think everybody's watching right now. I don't do a whole lot of podcasts and whatever, but you and I go way back. I don't think I had one gray hair when you and I first met. But yeah, man, that's crazy. You said 15, 20 years. I start thinking about that. It's crazy how quick that goes by.
It
I feel like
is.
you still look the same. Like you're like
Thank you. Thank you. And that's partially because of the advice I get every morning from Jared. Did you sweat
oh, that's
today? Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah, there you
it's
go.
not just real estate advice, you guys. This is true life advice as well. And with that said, um, 14 years ago, I was at one of his first events. I think we had the second advance. So every year for the last 15 years, Jared has had one of the best um, uh, expos or conventions in our industry. He calls it the Jared James Advance, and it's coming up next month. And if you guys haven't been to it or haven't heard about it, man, this is something you're gonna. Do you still have? There's still tickets available, right?
Yeah, man, we literally just released the agenda.
Okay.
And we've got a few more slots that we're actually still going to be putting in there in the breakout sessions. We're just figuring out topics, titles, that stuff. But we just released the agenda. So I know a lot of people were waiting for that. And, this agenda, honestly, man, I think it's the best one we put together. You're going to get the stuff you need to get, obviously, from an AI perspective and social media perspective and creating listings perspective and, building teams and delegation and all that kind of stuff. But I think one of the really cool things that we're doing this year as well is that we're also going to have sessions that are just fully focused on health and well-being and burnout and how to avoid that. And, I think sometimes that we talk so much about successful businesses and driving business and profit and all these kinds of things. And the problem is if people are too good at doing what it is you're teaching them, they actually are going to burn out. And so I've just gotten to a place in my life where I think it's important to really understand it's not balanced. There's no such thing as balance. Like, a factory worker is not balanced. If you look at the number of hours they're at the factory and the number of hours they're with their kids, it's not balanced. But it's work-life integration. It's understanding what it is that fills you, and it's understanding why you do what you do. So many people
Yeah.
watching right now, they work so hard. And my question is always, what for? Most of them are afraid to take a vacation and they're afraid to post about it because their clients will see it. And, that's not a career, that's a prison. And so this year, we're really going to focus in hard on, look, there's a lot of pivots happening right now. There's a lot of changes, and we're going to talk about what those are. But we're also going to talk about what does it look like moving forward? How do you succeed on a level where you can make decisions from a place of what you should do because you're in a good financial place. But you're also always having something to look forward to. And that's really what life is all about, doing the things you want to do with the people you want to do it with, and having the freedom to do that. And so I'm excited about this agenda, man. I really am. Like I feel like Dr. Dre and Eminem. I'm in the lab with a paper and pen, and I'm building sessions right now, and I'm really excited about it.
I love it. And I'll tell you guys, we go to conventions all over the country, and I like them all. There's always something benefit of each one, but this one, whenever we go, I tell whoever's there representing Wise Agent, whenever we see Jared at any of the shows, make sure you stop working at the booth and go sit and listen to what he says, because
Awesome.
it's advice that we can all use. This particular advance, every time we go, I'll tell you, it doesn't stop. He starts early, too early for a lot of us, and it doesn't stop. It goes on and on throughout the day, and every
It's too early.
single session is full of something that you can take away and put to use, and become more successful in your life one way or another. So
And by the way,
want to.
that's one of my favorite. It's so funny you say that. One of my favorite compliments is when I'm at events and you have people who come over and you could tell they're not from the whatever. They just have a certain look. And they're like, hey, man, I'm not even in real estate. But I got to tell you, that's like the best compliment you can get. And I don't know why people are always so surprised by that. It's like when you learn the principles of business, when you learn the principles of entrepreneurship, when you learn the principles of life, when you learn the principles of whatever, it's really like content all is the same. It's just contextualized to whatever you do. So when you have somebody who's a very successful realtor, for example, the truth is if they had gone into title, if they'd have gone into insurance, if they'd have gone into whatever, they probably would have been just as successful, because whatever it was that made them successful in real estate, you would just contextualize that to whatever you go into. And I'm always aware of that, because we do have, everybody talks about 87% failure rate in the first 5 years. Like, that stat has been talked about forever. But the one that nobody talks about that I think is way more important is 80% in the first year. And that shows you how difficult our industry is, because what other job, does a plumber have an 80% failure rate in the first year? Does an office job have an 80% failure rate? Does an accountant have an 80% failure rate? Like, nobody talks about that. Everybody trashes on our industry and says that all they're doing is opening doors and they're not working. But that's a legit thing. And for me, I'm always aware of what that turnover is. And so when I'm talking to an audience, I'm looking at them in multiple dimensions and multiple levels. And I'm saying, hey, I want this to help you now, but odds are most of you aren't going to be here in a few years. And I want this to still help you. And I think it's an interesting statement you make, because I'm always thinking on that level. Like, how do you take content and contextualize it to wherever somebody is?
There's something there for everyone. I highly recommend being there, and we'll drop the link to get you guys registered over here in the chat, and we'll have it in afterwards as well. So the topic today is the future of real estate now, and where it's going, where we're going. And one of the things that I love about Jerry is he's really up on everything, not just within the industry, even what's going on in social media. I saw he had some tips about Instagram yesterday, but we got a lot of questions about where, with everything going on, I'm having a hard time even focusing. Should I be paying attention to the lawsuits? Should I be paying attention to the interest rates? How do I talk to my clients? Where are we now, and where do you see us going in the near future on the 26th? Like, what's your quick thoughts on right now and moving forward?
All right, I think this is going to surprise people a little bit, my response to this, because I am very forward thinking, and we're going to have a lot of things, at the advance about, what's coming up and everything. I also think people spend way too much time thinking about it. It's winners don't sit and think about everything that someone else is going to be there. So, they focus, this sounds so cliche, but they focus on winning. Like, they focus on, and it's this funny thing, like when you're in the game, when you're in the battle, when you're actually in it, you're immersed in it, you can feel the shifts, and you can feel when it's time to move. You can feel, um, uh, when there's a little bit of because what happens is when you watch the news and when you listen to most, people like me and, these gurus and everything else, what people do to try to get a reaction is they go extreme on everything,
Right.
and nobody ever checks them. Nobody ever like goes back and goes, that was crap. Like, you scared the crap, but that wasn't true. Nobody ever checks these forecasts, which are really just guesses.
Right.
Like, that's all it is. They're just guesses. The NAR, what do you call it? Economist just came out and revised his numbers for the next 12 months. He went from 9% to 6% to 3% increase. They're never right. Like, they're
Never.
never right. They're worse than the weather. And yet we just keep on listening. And so my thing is like, and part of how I see my job, quite frankly, and this is a weird way to describe it, and let me finish the thought because it's going to sound bad at first. I kind of look at it like the Moses, from the perspective that, like, Moses comes down from the mountain with the tablet and he's like, these are the 10, and like I really look at my job. Part of what I do, in addition to being in it and helping people and whatever, is that it's my job to get into the weeds and be focusing through everything, and like what matters, what doesn't matter, what's important, what's not important. Like I brought up that thing yesterday, right? Like that thing on Instagram, the settings change, whatever. There's a lot of other changes, but I chose to talk about that one because part of how I view my job is kind of filtering through all of the mess and being kind of a beacon for people to be like, hey, this is what you need to be focused on. This is what actually matters. And if you notice, I have not, for the last 12 months, 18 months, when all you've heard is those two letters AI. It's all you've heard.
Right.
Anybody who follows me, you've heard almost nothing about it. Almost nothing.
Huh.
And it's not because it doesn't matter. It matters greatly. We're going to talk about it a lot at this advance. I don't talk about things I'm not an expert on. Like I don't, just because it's the new thing. Like, how many social media gurus do we have teaching sessions at conferences
Right.
all over this country who bought all their followers and get 300 views a video? But
Right.
because they're talking to a group of people who have no idea about it as well, they're just able to swindle them. And it's like, I just don't, I don't want to become that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to, whatever. And so when you say, where's the industry going? It's going wherever we take it. I think we forget we are the industry. you know, it's like saying, where's this marriage going? Well, we're the marriage. Like it's, like we are, when we talk about the industry. Okay. And so do I think this industry is going to a place, where AI is going to greatly affect it? 100. It's already happening. Like it's already happening, and that's why we're going to talk a lot about that at the advance in a practical way. Because what I see from most people right now is, you say, AI, is AI going to change things? Yeah, yeah. So what are you doing? What's that mean? And you talk to the average agent and they're like, are we eliminated? I'm not sure. And then they throw out the line, we won't be eliminated by AI, but we'll be eliminated by someone who uses it better. And you're like, okay, what's
Right.
that mean? Uses it how? Uses it, you know. And so I think we're going to a place, hopefully, we're going to have less agents. We're going to have more efficient agents because they're going to have to be. We are going to a world where, for years you've been able to kind of prop up your tech and be like, I've got this, I've got that, I've got this. And yet most agents didn't use hardly any of it. Like, Brandon, how many of your users pay for your service and don't use most of it? You know,
Oh yeah, that's the thing. We're
like,
constantly, we have so many cool features throughout, and everyone comes in and they come in for one reason or another, and so we're constantly trying to educate
yeah,
them on, hey, have you used this piece? Or are you using out a newsletter? Yeah,
that's
there's so much
huge.
more.
And
But
so, like, think about it. Now we're heading to a place where consumers are catching up and they have a certain expectation. 5 years ago, you could get away with having a fax number on your business card. Now
yeah,
people see a
yeah,
fax number on a business card, and that's a silent signal to me that
that's a
says,
tell.
don't work with this person.
Right,
So
right.
consumers are now, because consumers have become so tech forward, even though we're still people based, even though we're still relationship based, how we get to the point of conversion, how we get to the point of conversation, how we get to the point has changed. And it hasn't just changed in the sense of, hey, this is where we're going. It's changed in the sense of consumers have now made the change. And they are using their phones and they're using apps and they're using Instacart and they're using Uber and they're using all of these things. And so when you walk in as a real estate business in the third most stressful time in their life, buying the largest or selling the largest asset they're ever going to own, and you are not only able to meet them where they're at, but be ahead of where they're at, which is why they're hiring you as the pro, those people are just going to keep falling off. Because we are operating in the economy of convenience. This idea that because you have a book of business and everybody loves you, they're going to keep using you. Those days are gone. Like they're not even going to know. I did a thing recently, and I'm going to talk about this in the advance. Like, we're in the app storification of our industry right now. Like, everybody is building their own ecosystem. And then you have agents that say, well, I'm not worried about that because I have relationships. And what I say to them is, do you think that there's not better apps than the ones available in the Apple iStore that you have availability to? Do you think there's not better ones? Of course there are, but you don't even know about them
Right.
because we are in the economy of convenience. We use what's convenient. And so that is something that our industry, agents overall and brokers overall, have really got to wrap their heads around and understand that you better have solutions in place. And you can't just say, I have this. You better be using it to make the process easier for buyers and sellers, or they're going to go elsewhere. Path of least resistance. That's what clients are. They're just like water.
Right, right. Hey, Jared, we mentioned the Instagram thing, and a few people I saw Brookfield's asking, will you fill us in real quick on what happened yesterday, the announcement
Oh
with
God,
the location?
I could give you a huge scenario. Okay, so yesterday, they had, announced that they're now doing a friends map, which gives people the ability to look and see exactly where their friends are all over Instagram, which I hate.
Yeah.
Guys, when I go on the road, I don't need someone knowing where I'm having a steak or where
Right.
some I don't need people knowing where my wife is. Like I don't need, so you need to go into if you go into the settings in Instagram and you start putting in location, it hasn't been put out for everybody yet, but it's almost out for everybody. So if you don't see it yet, it'll be there soon. But you put in location and it'll say stories live and location. And then you can choose, do I want my location to show to friends, to a specific group, or just turn it off? And I just turn mine completely off. We also, by the way, as of July 10th, this is a huge move. As of July 10th, your videos on Instagram and Facebook and all these different places are now being pulled onto the search engines, Google and Yelp and ChatGPT and all these places as SEO, search engine optimization, which prior to July 10th was not the case. But you have to go into your settings, go into privacy, and you have to allow your videos and your photos and such to be searched and to be used, because now all of those videos you've done, all of that content you've done, all of the words you've used, local area, local market, first-time buyers, sellers, whatever it is, it's now going to be automatically transcribed and used as SEO if you
Wow.
turn the setting on that allows the search engines to see it. You have to give them
Wow.
permission. And so most
Wow,
people don't
that's
even know that just happened. And that is humongous. Okay.
huge,
Can I give
huge.
you one more really quick thing?
Yeah, no, I love it.
Give you a little taste of the advance right now. Okay. Every one of you needs to have a page on your site because the spoken word is now SEO, search engine optimization. It's all automatically transcribed. Every one of you needs to have a page on your website where you literally, once the juice from a video is gone on your social, you go on the desktop version of that video, click the right three dots, take an embed link, and now every single video you do on social needs to be embedded on one page on your website so that it's
Oh.
just SEO. It's just juice coming straight to your website for videos you're posting other places.
That's huge. And so many, our mindset has been, hey, you've got to have a blog for your SEO. And a lot of people were doing social. Well, now instead of the hashtags, just make sure you're putting your local neighborhoods and mentioning those keywords, because even if you don't have a blog, your Instagram is now going to work in your favor in SEO if you're using it right. And
Such a
that's
great point, by
huge.
the way, because everybody says, do I still use hashtags? Like they don't have the effect they used to have. Like now it's about the words that you say. And look, guys, this stuff's important. Like when you have to stay up on algorithms and what these platforms are doing, because these platforms are not social media. Like we call them social media. They're modern day marketing. That's all they are. And you cannot be in business for yourself and not be amazing at modern day marketing. I
Right.
put that video up yesterday on Instagram where I'm walking down the road. There's a homeless guy behind me, and I'm in El Paso. And I think on Instagram alone, it's already been shared 12,000 times. And it
Wow.
gives you an idea like how interested people are and how they're understanding that like this stuff matters. You have to keep up with what's happening. And it may be annoying and it may like get frustrating that things keep changing and you have to stay ahead. But the better way to think about it is when you get annoyed and you get frustrated, so does all of your competition. The only
Yeah.
difference is they get frustrated and don't do anything. Everything that pops up that's a change and a pivot that gives you the opportunity to get annoyed is an opportunity for you to get ahead. That's what you need to remind yourself.
Right, right. Wow. And that's another thing, as he's saying this, it just makes me think Jared always is staying up on that. And not only is he doing it, but he tells you, copy me. This is what's working. Just like what he just gave us a huge tip. If you look at what he did yesterday and copy him, that'll work for you as well. And he has a different audience than you guys do. So So yeah, that's another thing I just love that you're always giving the advice and you're telling us what works and for you and you're testing everything before we
I'm an
even know about
operator,
it a
man.
lot
I'm
of times.
out doing it. Like I'm actually trying it and doing it and seeing what's working and doing, whatever. Like that's the difference. Like I
And
said, you have all these social experts, right? I did over 50 million organic views the last 12 months. And that's because like the stuff I'm telling you, I know works. When you look at another pro tip for you guys, if you go and you look at socialmediatoday.com. Socialmediatoday.com is a newsletter that goes out daily that literally just breaks down a ton of social stuff. And like if you're into that, go for it. Like go check it out. That's modern day marketing. If you're not and you just want me to come down from the mountain and be like, here are the 10 rules, then just follow along. And I'll tell you when something's really important, I'll put it out there.
he does. You got to follow him if you're not. I'm telling you. And speaking of that, we also we're all about practicing what we preach when we're talking about building relationships. Jared is doing it all. Yesterday, he said he was in El Paso. Tell us real quick about your story coming back from El Paso and how much sleep you've had on this podcast right now.
This is called winning the Academy Award. I was coming back from El Paso and there's no direct flights. And my flight got delayed, and now I was landing in the next place that I was going. It took off at 5:41, and I was deplaning at 5:20 from a different terminal, and it was going to close the doors at 5:26. So if you saw me as the Flash going across the airport, I got there. I'm not sure how, but then we get delayed because of a gas spill. We go to take off. We take off. Emergency landing in Kansas City because
Oh,
someone had whatever. Then the crew timed out, and they can't stick around. And so wait. Long story short, I land at my airport a little after 3 a.m. I get home at 4:30 a.m. only to realize I left my computer on the flight.
this morning.
Uh, yes, but thank God someone found it, like one of the crew people. They got it off the plane, left it at the airport. So I canceled everything this morning, drove back to the airport, drove back here just in time to come do this.
Hey.
I'm working on like I'm ready to go to sleep.
It means even more. It means even more. Thank you. And so we've got a lot of questions on what's going on right now. Interest rates drastically drop. Do
Yeah.
we anticipate pricing of homes will skyrocket? Will they stay the same?
Yeah.
And how do we talk to our clients about what we think is going to happen and with the market if it drops or if it doesn't with everything else going on.
Such a great question. It's all just better questions, man. Like stop letting like debate 101, like stop letting people put you into corners to answer questions you shouldn't be answering. It's like people are trying to time the market right now, like as if they're buying crypto or penny stocks. And they
Right,
say, well,
right.
is it the right time to buy? And the real answer is to, go back and ask a better question and say, is there ever a bad time to own? And it's kind of like, oh shoot, but really what they're saying is they're trying to time, prices with rates, with, all of these things. But when you understand real estate, there's never been a 10-year period in the history of the market where it went down. Ask questions. If they're only planning on being somewhere for 6 months, then it's probably not a good time to buy. If they're planning on being there long term, there's never a bad time to own, right? And so when people say, when's the best time to buy, the answer is 300 years ago. Okay. Every home in America 300 years ago. And then once
Yeah.
you get a little chuckle out of them and you say, no, I know what you mean. But you have a lot of people around you right now that are telling you, hey, what if rates drop more? Should we wait for rates to drop? I think we need to remember that last year we did just over 4 million homes sold. And the year before, a little bit over that, but about the same. And everybody's like, oh, it's bad. Well, it's worse than you think. Because in 2005, we did 7.2 million home sales with
Wow.
70, and we have 70 million more people now. Think about that for a second. So not only did we do almost half the home sales, we did it with 70 million more people. Okay. So it's worse than you think. But then you get a little deeper on it and you realize, oh, there's 9 million people between the ages of 26 and 35 living in their parents' basement right now, all sitting around waiting for rates to drop. And so when people ask that question and they're like, do I wait longer? What's going on? Yeah, you can wait longer. But if you think you're going to get a better deal or you're going to time it right, when the rates go down to a place that you say time to get off the fence, guess what? 9 million other people are doing the same thing. And now you've put yourself at a competitive disadvantage with multiple offers, rising home prices, maybe not getting the house again, hopefully, not doing inspections again. You're right back where you were because you were over here treating the real estate market like it was crypto. And so we've got to understand this stuff. Some of the people listening right now are hearing those stats for the first time. And they have no, like, we're professionals, guys. That's the kind of stuff we need to know, and we need to be able to educate people, because in absence of hearing from you, they're hearing from their expert dad. And I say that in quotations,
Right.
who means well, but has no clue. And what I know about the market is I can always refinance a rate. I can't do a clawback on where prices used to be. And so when people say to me, should you buy or should you not? What I can promise you is 10 years from now, every single person in this country is going to wish they bought 10 homes, because that's the history of the market.
That's the message you guys should all be giving right there, when you're asked about it. And then we're also getting a lot of questions to ask you about all the lawsuits. Homes is just filed a suit on Zillow, Compass on Zillow, all these going around that are, everyone's looking to see what's going to happen. Should we be paying attention to that as realtors and brokers? And how do we talk to our clients? Because they're hearing about it too, and they're asking us,
Yeah.
what is this going to do to the market? What do we do with all these lawsuits that are constant in the last few years?
Well, what do you do with them? There's more coming, just so you know. There's many more coming. Look, there's a reason why the theme of our advance this year is rising above the noise. You have to look at noise like a wave that you ride with a surfboard. You have to look at noise like an eagle looks at a storm. You have to look at noise like, it either crumbles you or it rises you higher. And so what we have to understand is that a time of uncertainty, which is what all this noise creates, times of uncertainty are the greatest times of opportunity
Right now.
for the right people. And so when you have people right now, I've said this for years, that we used to be an industry where it was enough to get in front of people when they're ready to buy and sell, but we're now an industry where you have to get in front of people when they're ready to learn. Well, for years, people have struggled with, what do I talk about? If you are right now struggling with what to talk about to your consumers, you're not paying attention. Okay. Like, all of this uncertainty, all of these lawsuits, all of these things, they're all opportunities for conversations. And if they don't hear from you, they're going to go listen to the news, which they have no idea what they're talking about. And so, now is a great time to be sending out 10 to 20 text messages a day that says something like, hey, has any of the recent real estate news changed your plans for buying or selling in the next 12 months? Has any of the recent news changed your real estate plans in the next 12 months? And then
It's a
you
great
let them
conversation.
decide what that means. When you send out a text message or an email or whatever, it says, hey, has any of the recent news changed your real estate plans in the next 12 months? Our goal there is a conversation, not a closing, because conversations lead to closings, right? But the thing is, what I love about that is that you're not leading the witness. And so they're sitting there and they tell you what that means. You didn't say if you meant rates. You didn't say if you meant my paying a buyer or not paying a buyer. You didn't talk about lawsuits. You didn't talk about rising or lowering home prices. You didn't talk about inventory. You said, has any of the recent news changed your real estate plans in the next 12 months? And then they return serve, tell you what they want to talk about. And now you have a conversation. Okay. That's the stuff that pros are doing. And when I say that, times of uncertainty lead to times of opportunity, that's what I'm talking about. Don't hide in the corner. Go have conversations.
Boom, right there, you guys. That right there is a huge tip. If you all get off this meeting today and use your Wise Agent, you can send one text message to your entire database and ask that question. You're gonna get conversations going. Conversations is what creates relationships, and especially in this time of AI and bots, everyone is craving that personal
Yeah.
human touch, human relationships, and we're still gonna pick the people that we have a relationship with to go to when we're going to make a major transaction. So start the conversations about all these great topics when you don't know what to talk about right there, and then turn those conversations into relationships, and that's how you win.
Brandon, I always say the role of technology is to free you up to do the things you should have been doing all along, right? So don't get it twisted. Don't go to one side and say, I don't need tech, and don't go to the other side and say, I don't need relationships. Whatever. They work together. It's like tech forward, people focused, right? The goal is to get to the conversation. And the problem with most realtors, the problem with most agents and brokers is they're trying to make closings happen.
Right.
Okay. You
Right.
don't control closings. In fact, you could put stuff under contract, and in many places, they're more difficult than ever to get to a close. Okay. What you do control, let's control the controllable, is the conversations you create, which ultimately lead to closings. So what you do every single day is you need to be waking up every single day and just saying to yourself, forget about how do I create 2 closings. You wake up every single day and you say, how do I create conversations I never would have had? How do I start to actually interact with people in a way that I never would have before? Right? I mean,
Right. Right.
let's be very honest for a second. Like, um, you and I are on this right now because you reached out like a month ago and you asked me about something else and you were like, hey, can I just show you some stuff we're doing? Can I just whatever? Right. And I'm like, dude, longtime friend, like, let's do it. We jump on, I look at your stuff, and the next thing you know, you kind of threw out the podcast, whatever, and it leads to like, you didn't reach out and say, hey, would you come on my podcast?
Right.
Right. Like, we get those all day, every day. But you came out and said, hey, man, I want to show you. And you were like, value, value. And then it was like, okay, it led to a conversation. And that conversation led to whatever. And like, like, stop trying to get married on your first date at the bar. You understand? Like, it's relationship, like, it's conversations. That's the business. And when you're thirsty, everyone can feel it.
Right. This stuff works, you guys. I learned it all right from Jared, and it worked and got him on the podcast. So it's a full circle here. I love all of it, and this is what we all should be doing in this business is building relationships, and then the rest will come. Um, as far as lead generation, people are having a hard time. I guess generating the leads, and then those that have the listings, the questions are all coming in. What do I do? We're not getting any showings. We're not, how do I have those conversations? So when you think about, and we had someone put a question in on the registration. I just moved to a new town. I'm trying to get this going. What would you do in this new city? I know nobody. Should I buy leads? If I should buy them, where should I buy leads from? Or how do I start generating leads? What's your advice?
Okay, that's a loaded question. Because the answer, like most things, is it's not or, it's and. Like most people say, should I do this or should I do this? When really the answer is, should I do this and should I do this? You understand? Like, it's
Right,
and.
right,
At the level that you can handle it. Now, the nice thing is that with a system like yours, you're able to systematize things and set up processes and do more than you would have done on your own. But look, I'm going to tell you right now, the quickest and easiest way to be known in a marketplace, it is easier than ever. I could go into any one of the marketplaces of the people watching right now and dominate them because I would be on their people's phones immediately. Okay. And so there's a couple things you want to do. When you go into a local marketplace, you should be doing content, both answering questions that buyers and sellers don't have, but you also need to be interviewing constantly local businesses. Okay. Get in with the community. That will make them share you as well. Okay. So get in with the local community, talk to them, find out what's going on, offer gift cards from that local. So you go to a new Mexican restaurant and go and interview that person about a new burrito they have, and they're giving away $100 gift card, and we're going to pick a winner this Friday. All you have to do is make sure you're following here, tag someone below, and share this to your profile. And you start doing that kind of stuff, and the business pays the $100, right? You should be doing that. You should also be going out on a weekly basis at minimum, get the approval of the seller, of the listing agent, but you should be doing home tours, like on social,
Mm-hmm.
walking around and showing them as if you're showing a buyer and putting that up on your accounts over and over and over again. Like, content. There's so many different types of content to do, but guys, it's all free. It's all available to you. And so the problem is that it's the most effective form of marketing today, and yet we have an industry full of people going, okay, but what else? Because they're trying to stay away from it because they don't like how they look and sound.
Right,
And right after they tell me that they want to avoid the number one form of marketing in our industry today because they don't like how they look and sound, they then walk away into the world without a bag over their head and interact with people with the same voice and the same face that they're afraid to put on a phone.
right, right,
It doesn't add up. You understand? And so, we've all got to make a decision on what matters more to us. Is it the trouble, the fear of putting ourselves out there and potentially being rejected, or do we choose to struggle and go bankrupt and struggle with bills? And you're making a choice. It's one or the other. Now, to your other point, can you buy leads? Can you do? Sure. Everybody buys leads. You buy them with money or you buy them with time. but don't buy leads until you have your CRM set up.
There you go.
Until you have your follow-up set up, it's an absolute waste of time. Okay. And so you sit down and you get on a system like Wise Agent. You make sure you've got your follow-ups for open houses, and you've got your follow-ups for, leads for a specific source. You've got your follow-ups. It's always boats over fishing, guys. Everybody runs out and wants to go fishing. But you got to build the boat first. It's the infrastructure. That's the infrastructure is what allows you to go whale hunting. It's what allows you to go shark. I'm not going after an orca in a canoe. Okay. I do not have the advantage there. Okay. And so if you have big dreams, you better have big infrastructure. And that's the boring part that everybody skips and just wants to go straight to being a star. And it's like, well, wait a second, let's back up a little bit here and actually focus on the things that are gonna allow me to have success that I say that I want. So you can buy leads, sure, if you have the systems in place.
There you go. And speaking of leads, I know I might be jumping the gun for some of my team members here, but we've been testing out some amazing new technology that we're getting ready to roll out. We haven't announced it yet. It's not on our site, but I'll let everyone on the podcast know. Basically, what we've got is we're now building custom websites. And so it started off as a tool to work on our
Amazing.
only on our own websites. We can do this on any website. So whether you want to use ours or not, what we've developed is, what we've kind of been able to put together is a way that if these, we can put a little script on your website, whether we built it or someone else, if we have access to that, and then it will actually generate every person that goes to your website that we can, they call it skip tracing. Basically, whether they these are for the people that you want them to go to your website and fill out a form. But so many people are hitting your website that are looking around, but they don't fill out that form. Well,
Right.
now with the technology, we can tell you, hey, here's a list of 10 people that were on your website today. Here's where they came from. Here's where they live. They're renting or they're buying, and here's how long they've been there. And now you know what page in your website they were on. These leads are people that have seen your name because they were on your website. They know your logo. Or your landing page, and then you can reach out to them, and we're not charging a setup fee. Basically, what we're doing is, hey, less than $5 a lead, $4 per lead. We'll give you their name, email, address, what page they were on your website, and it's and we're just gonna sell it per lead. So if you guys want to get in on that right away, you'll be the beta testers. Drop your name in the chat, and we will reach out to you over the next week. And if you have a different email than you registered with, add that as well so that we can reach out. But you guys can be the first ones to try it out, and you'll just be paying straight up $4 per lead, and the leads have all the critical information, and they will be added right to your Wise Agent CRM. So,
Brandon, can I just say something about that? So I didn't know you were going to say that. Just so you guys know, I did not know.
no one knew I was going to say that.
Yeah,
I cannot.
guys, that's insane. Like, that is insane. Like, that is, you told me recently when we talked, I didn't know we were going to bring this up or not today, but that you had launched websites. And dude, it's been over a decade where we have so many of our people like, I love Wise Agent, but I need a website attached to it. I need a whatever. You guys, is that officially launched?
It's launched. It's
Oh,
launched.
so guys, everybody watching right now, they have websites now. And the reason why you see me talking to Brandon and not talking to other, I've got a lot of friends in the CRM business. I am jockey over horse. Okay. And so the moment I met Brandon, I was like, oh, this guy's going to figure it out. Like whatever's going to happen, he cares about the product. He cares about the people. He cares about, whatever. So the fact that you're now adding the website onto that, like, that's super cool, man. Like, that's going to be such a benefit to everybody. And no more excuse for them not to use you because
and it's just having one place where everything works together. And actually, I'll do a real quick technology break here for you guys and show off a little bit of our technology just so you can see what we're talking about. Can you see the screen okay right now?
I can see it, yeah.
All right. So yeah, some of the websites that we're building, you guys, are full custom websites. You tell us how you like it. We can set it up. There's nothing you can think of that we can't do. But now with that new lead technology, if they fill out one of your forms on the website, of course, that lead's going to come right over and you'll start dripping and converting them. But even if they don't, if they've clicked around on your website, we can get about 25% of those people that don't fill something out and send that directly to you. And that's what I'm talking about. It's mind-blowing technology to me. I love seeing it. So I'm really excited. And so jumping the gun a little bit, but we're going to get you guys set up.
So
If you
cool,
haven't
man.
seen Wise Agent for a little bit, this is what you're looking at when you first log on. We talked about doing the text messaging earlier. You can do it right from your Wise Agent. Send one text to 50 or 500 people and spend the day replying back to text and building those relationships right from within your CRM, or if you want to reply from your phone, it works as well. What you're looking at here is just our dashboard. So the commission reports, so you're able to track all your commissions. You see your day planners, the leads, the calls coming in, the task, and of course your transaction checklists are a big deal. Some of the things that we've recently updated, the drip campaigns are just running real smooth, easy to set up now. Those are always going to start off from the content library. So we've done a lot of revamps on the content library to really get it up to the best out there now. And it's as easy as you can go in and say, hey, I need content. We just have lots and lots of content ready to go that it'll put your logo and your picture right on it. Use our newsletters. And here's an example. You can grab the August newsletter that's out. It's ready to go. Any piece that you don't like, it's just very easy to change. If you want to add your social media, you just grab it, drop it where you want it, and now there's all your LinkedIn's and everything ready to go. Let's say you want to add a video, you can just drag that video where you want, click in it, go ahead and drop in a URL. Oops, that one's not going to work. I'll just grab one that was on here, and then it'll pull the video right in for you and get that set up. So it's really easy now to get great content and then blast that out to your whole database. No problem. And we always have the best customer support standing by to help you do any of these things I'm showing you. The last thing I want to show before I jump right back over to Jared is these transaction checklists. We're just getting so many great compliments on how to organize anything that you're going to do in your business that you're going to do multiple times. You should have a checklist for. So each time, whatever that is, it happens to be on a listing site. When you go to get a new listing, it's going to walk you through everything you do before you even get to the listing. Everything once you get that listing, everything you need to do once you get a contract on it and so on. And it just goes through. But the cool thing is as you're going through these and you're checking things off, you put it in the MLS or you added the lockbox on whatever you do, added flyers. When you check that off, not only is it recording when you did it and what you did, but it also has triggers behind it. So now it'll send a text message or an email to your client that is pre-written that lets them know, hey, I stopped by today and I added the lockbox. Here's how that's going to help. So everything you do, you're communicating back to the seller, all the little things that you never take time to let them know, and they tell you, I didn't have a lot of communication. Now you've got that communication. But it also is sending a text to someone on your team to let them know, hey, it's your turn to do the next step. So if you're on a team or not, this thing just works for you. So that's the transaction checklist. And of course, everything has all the reporting with it. So you can pull reports for anything you want on Wise Agent. And we're always happy to show you, give you full demos and help you guys get set up and onboarded on our system. So as you start using the technology, use our support. We're the best out there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll always take good care of you and walk you through it.
By the way,
Yeah,
our transaction coordinators at Cleared and Closed. I have a transaction coordination company called clearedandclosed.com, and they use Wise Agent.
there you go.
Yeah.
And they're doing transactions for agents
They're
all
using it for the
over.
transaction coordination and the client facing stuff.
There
And
you
like,
go.
yeah, so they're using it for all that. Yeah.
Super. And yeah, we do. I see. We have a question from August. They're asking if this is works in Canada. We are worldwide. We have the newsletter every month that we put out. We have an English version, a Spanish version, and a Canadian version. The Canadian's in English, but we have all your extra Boxing Day and all the good stuff, all the extra Canadian holidays that we don't get here. So yeah, definitely check out our content. But we're worldwide, you guys, and as Jared's traveling around the world, we're picking up more and more people around the world, and we're obviously always listening to everyone using it is how we're making this better every day. We're listening to you all, and that's what we love doing and turning your problems into innovative solutions here.
Look at you. I love it.
All right. So some of the other things that people were asking about is the frequency we should be connecting with people with new leads, with people that are already in our database, and people that we've closed the house on, because a lot of times they're dropping off as soon as we close the deal. They hear from us once a year.
If that.
Some people, when they get a new lead, they feel like, hey, I don't want to overwhelm them, I don't want to offend them, so they're only sending one text every month or a week. What is the right frequency for
Those are,
someone we don't know versus people we know versus people we've just closed a deal with?
yeah, okay, so those are two different questions. I'm going to give you a separate answer too. First off, people you don't know, like leads that come in, we tell our students, we tell our academy members, you follow up until you get one of two fingers. There is no such thing as offending them. So you follow up until you get a finger that says, let's work together, or until you get a finger that says, let's not. And I'm not going to show you that finger, but it's a different finger. And so there is no offending them. Stop saying no for other people. You have a very short amount of time to get their attention. Okay. Remember, everything you do is a demonstration of what they can expect when they make the right decision to work with you. So if you reach out once and move away, that's what they know they're going to get when it comes time for someone to sell their home, or someone to be looking for a property for them, or someone to be, they want a pit bull. They want someone who's staying on top of it.
Yes.
Everything you do is a demonstration of what they can expect when they make the right decision to work with you. That's it. Now, different question. When we talk about post-close, completely different question. There's frequency from the perspective of, there's really top three things that people want from you post-close. And it's not apple pie recipes. It's not interest rates. Like when we start looking at our post-close marketing, we have to start looking at what is valuable to them, not what is valuable to us. What we do is we send out value to us. Okay. And what we know statistically they're looking for is, number one, they want a property impact report. We call them nosy neighbors, but whenever there's something that comes up around them that potentially affects the value of that property, affects the value of their portfolio, the largest thing they're ever going to own, that the biggest contributor to their wealth, to their retirement, they want to know what it is. Okay. So that's the one thing they want. They want access to your vendors. There are 2,000 painters in their area, and they want to know which ones are ex-criminals and are going to rob me, and whatever, and which ones do a nice job and I can trust them, and I can, and they want access to the people that you say that you trust. And number three, they want property insurance information. They want to know when it's time to be looking at other places. They want to know, like, can I switch? So 2 weeks before their 1-year renewal, every single year, you need to be reaching out and letting them know, hey, you should check out, what are the options? Is your premium going up? How much? Start looking around. That's valuable to them. Now, those are three very specific touches, but the truth is, you should be touching them all the time, but it's just a nonchalant, it's content. Okay. If you've ever run into someone in the supermarket or somewhere, and they were like, oh my God, I love your last video. And you're like, what? You've never commented, you've never liked, you've never content. Look, when you start talking about marketing, there's two main purposes of it. Number one is direct call to action. That's called leads. Number two is branding. Now, branding works before and after close. Branding works when you walk into a listing appointment and they go, I know you, or you go to show a house, and they're like, oh, I watch your videos. It helps you convert, okay? But branding also helps post-close, because all of those people, those 89 to 90% of people who say they'll work with you again, but only 11 to 13% actually do, it's because they don't remember you. And we think, well, that's because I'm not reaching out and touching them every day. And I'm not, no, that's not what they're looking for. They need you to stay top of mind, okay? And so how you do that is you do that through content that's constantly showing up on their platforms, and they're seeing you and thinking of you, and they know that you're in real estate. But even when you're doing that, you have to look at it as, okay, I'm not just putting out real estate content to them, right? There's three things that you try to deliver to people through content. It's connection, proof, and value, okay? Connection, proof, and value. And one of the most important things that you want to drop on people post-close is connection. The reason I put out videos with my wife, and I put out videos with my kids, and I put out videos with, is not because I need everyone to see us. I'm completely fine being a hermit crab somewhere, okay? It's because it makes you feel connected to me. And when you're an agent in an area and there's 10,000 other agents, the ability to put out content that connects them to your real life, connects them to your family, connects them to your hobbies, connects them. Now, when it comes time for them to buy or sell again from somebody, if they don't go with you, they're not just going with you. They're literally taking a check away from those kids that you take care of, because you're a mom, you're a dad, you know, and so those are three things that you do over the course of a year, but it's not about just those three touches. It's about connection proof value, like content on a regular basis that's not only reaching people who are going to work with you, but it also holds on to people who have already worked with you.
There you go. And over the years, one of the things Jared's always preached on everything is consistency. And it's what he hasn't said a lot on this podcast, but that's really what you're saying right here is you just have to be
Consistency is
consistent.
undefeated.
There's not a magic number of how many times, how many touches, or is there?
But Brandon, you know what? Here's the thing. I said this at an event I was at yesterday. I've never said this before. I actually think I put this in my advance notes because I think I'm going to talk about this in the advance. I think that as an industry, we need to understand that it is way more difficult to get someone you don't know to work with you one time than it is to get somebody who's worked with you one time to work with you 5 times.
Yeah.
It's much easier to get somebody you've worked with between the referrals they do and the buying to turn into 5 transactions than it is to get somebody who doesn't know you to do 1. And yet the biggest mistake we make is we go after the 1, the 1, the 1, the 1. And what we should be looking at is the 1 to 5, converting those that already know us, right? Like that already trust us, that already, you know. So when I say, hey, you've got those 3 things, the truth is your people should be seeing you weekly. They literally should be seeing you weekly. But it's not because you're reaching out and you know, saying I have, you know, here's the new best way to make bread. It's
Right.
because you pop up on their phone and they watch 4 seconds, but that's all they needed to watch because it made them for a second think about you. And it reminds them, that's right, real estate. Oh, that's right. Oh, they're still in it. Oh, they are out there. They are doing it. Oh, look at that. They're doing a home tour of this. Oh my God, look at that. And they go, branding, branding. That is the person you use. They don't need to watch all 90 seconds of your video. They don't need to watch
Right.
all 2 hours of your podcast. It's just a constant, you know, just like when we used to, we still do, but like when you send out postcards and you know they pick it up and it's a visibility play and it is a top of mind play and it is, I don't need them to stare at it for an hour and a half.
Right.
I need 5 seconds of focus.
There you go.
You understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
you know, there's an old principle that branding, it takes 5 different ways for, it takes 5 touches for someone to remember you. And not like 5 touches in a you're going to go to prison way, but like 5 touches, like, you know, you touch somebody once, they're going to remember you. But like, you know, 5 touches in like a billboard and you know, whatever. But now those touches are done. That same principle is true as far as 5 touches for people to remember you. But now those touches are done on here, and they're done
Right.
through email, and they're done through that text message you send when you say, you know, hey, has any of the recent news changed your real estate plans? And that, like, it's all of that. Okay.
It's all together. And so many people may not even be liking or sharing your content, but they're watching and they're seeing it
Doesn't matter.
and it's going in their brain and they're remembering your name. And your name is your brand. Even if someone had asked, I don't have a brand. I'm just a solo agent. That your name is your brand, you know.
Yeah, you're your brand. Like, look at me, dude. I own several companies. Like, I do like more than just the real estate coaching training. I'm different brands to different people. My brand is that I'm an entrepreneur, and I do fun stuff with my wife, and I travel, and I do, like, that's your brand, guys. It's a
You
new
go.
world, you know.
There,
But this world we live in. I was at an event yesterday, and a lady came up to me, and she goes, oh my god, oh my god. She's like, I literally see you every morning. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I see you every morning. She's like, if I pull up my phone right now, you will be on my thread. Like, you will be. She's never once commented or liked.
wow. Yeah,
Never once.
see?
And yet she saw me. She was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, that is way more difficult for me to do when my market is the world. Your market is local. Do you know how much easier that is? Like, consistency's undefeated.
Oh, oh
Consistency's
yeah. Yeah.
keep doing it. Divorce yourself from result. Keep making
And
videos. Don't worry about how they perform. You know, like, and that's one of the, I saw somebody post in here, what about threads? Should we be doing threads? Sure, because it's an option. It's not getting as many views as the other places, but we don't determine where our consumer is. I was in El Paso yesterday. I didn't know in January I'd be in El Paso. but that's where my consumer was. And some of you are avoiding putting things in different places because it's not your platform. I'm not really on there. It's not about you. It's about them. And you may only get 27 views over there. That's 27 people that watched your boring real estate video and chose that over Netflix. Like,
Right,
that's
right.
incredible.
There you
That's
go.
27 people who cared about, and you're ready to go off with its head. I'm not,
Right, right.
I'm not like what? You know, you got to change the way we think about this stuff. Every view is valuable.
So true. And it goes back, I was just showing you all the newsletter, and every time we do class, there will be someone raise their hand and say, newsletters don't work anymore. And we always say, you're right, they don't if you don't send them. And
I
it's
was gonna
not
say
about they
that's
half the
yeah,
time they don't have to read them. It's not about what I don't want to send it because I don't like the recipe. It doesn't matter. They're probably not going to read it, but they see your name, and that's where the
top of
value
mind.
is consistency.
Top of
Yes.
mind, man. Top of mind. I've had people come to me and they're like, I loved you and I saw you on that and they don't met. It's like, whatever, cool. Like, but they know you. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Like, we live in a world right now where artists can't even release full albums. They have to do a song at a time. That's how
There
little
you go.
attention people have. So if they
Right.
recognize you at all, winning.
That's it. As it keeps on changing, you all follow Jared, and he's going to keep you up to date. Just what you experienced here in this hour, and I know this hour just flew by. This is how this upcoming conference, Jared James Advances. You're
I'm
like
excited,
drinking
man.
out of a fire hose the whole time. You're going to go back just full of it, get home full of energy and full of tips to implement. So we're here. We already hit an hour, Jared. Any last thoughts or advice as we close out this Friday and let people get out there and get back to work?
You know, yeah, I do recommend they come to the advance, obviously. Like, I know I'm supposed to say that I'm more excited than ever and everything, but I am, you know. We're doing this is going to be our last advance. And maybe it won't be. I mean, if the industry normalizes, maybe we'll go back to it. But a lot of people have asked me, like, why is this your last advance? We're not going to stop doing events. We're just going to start doing pop-ups. The industry, the way it is now, a once a year event doesn't serve it anymore. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but everything has gone haywire.
Yeah,
And, I've got 60 pages of notes for the advance. And every 2 weeks, 14 pages are obsolete because everything keeps changing.
changing so fast.
It's so fast. And so I decided to listen to my own words. How many years have I said to everybody, look, the quickest way to underperform on your potential is to get romantic about how you got there. And I've said that for years, but like at some point you have to believe your own Instagram quotes. And so like I'm sitting there just going, God, I really feel like we should back off of this and like start doing these other, I think they'll serve the industry better. And honestly, it was just a matter of just courage to do it and say, I'm going to do that, even though it's going to get criticized. And people are like, what's wrong? Why are they doing that? Like, whatever. I think it's the right thing for the industry. And if the industry normalizes, I'll go back to it. Okay. But having said that, I'm putting more work into this advance than ever before. We're going to end with a bang with a white party Friday night. You better get your clothes and let's go. But if you guys have any way of getting there, like I can't stress this enough. I have never been the guy who sounds the alarm and goes, hey, this industry's in trouble. I've never been that guy. I've never been the guy, Zillow's this and, whatever. We have some real threats right now in this industry. And that's why I called it the app storification of our industry. And I'll talk more about that at the advance. But we have billions and billions of dollars being put into this industry in the first way that I've seen since I've gotten into the industry that literally could eliminate the agents if they don't wake up, if they
Mhm.
don't offer a better solution, if they don't offer the ecosystem that so many buyers and sellers are looking for right now. We have an industry full of agents and brokers complaining that these other places are stealing their clients. And yet what I would tell you is that nobody can steal what you take care of. And so if anybody's taking your clients, it's not their fault. It's ours. Again, I've said for years, competition eliminates you or makes you better. And we're going to have some people when we sound this alarm that are going to open their ears and understand that it's time to get better. And we're going to define very clearly what that means. And so I'm excited, man. It's crazy because I come on these kinds of things and there's so much I can't say because I got to save it for the Netflix special. That's what I call the advance. But I got a lot of good stuff coming in September and I hope I'll see a lot of you there.
Yeah, and I saw you've got a lot of great sessions with other speakers. He's brought some of the top educators in our entire industry, and I saw John Gilliam. I've seen a lot of big names on there that I'm really
Dude,
looking
Ken
forward.
Pozek's coming in. He's from Orlando. He's done over 100 million in sales this year just from YouTube, and he's going to come in and talk about how he did that. You
That's
know,
another thing about this
and by the way,
event.
he's done it in 2 markets. So like
Wow,
it's just repeatable.
he
Like
can,
that's
yeah.
worth it on it. And then we have the channel junkies who do the exact same thing, doing a breakout, going step by step. Like this is going to be the practical conference.
I
Okay.
saw John Gilliam posted he was going to be doing a session there.
Yeah. I'm excited
Yeah,
about that.
and I think that's another thing about this event. Uh, it always attracts the best people of the industry.
Oh, they're the best, man.
You leave there with new friends every time, and it's just so good to go see everybody. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing you all there next month. Hey, Jared, thank you so much for your time today and all the advice. This is exactly what people were wanting out of this, and we're gonna let you go get a little nap in today,
I'm going
hopefully.
for a run.
Are you gonna go for a run? All
I am.
right.
I got some things to think about. I'm going to go for a run. I don't want this to end without saying though. First off, congrats to you guys. For all of you out there that's not using Wise Agent, get on it, guys. Like again, jockey over horse. But here's the beautiful thing: you have a good jockey and a good horse. Like it's your product's amazing. The fact that you guys have now launched the websites too. I mean, there's no reason to not be using you now. I mean, now you talk about $4 a lead and everything else. You guys are always at the forefront of what's going on. And I love that. You guys make it user friendly. And for anybody watching right now, like if you can't realize that like Brandon's a genuine guy, and look, we all want to support businesses. There's a lot of great businesses, but I love the idea that you support a business that also supports a great guy that cares back about you guys. And we had I can't divulge the conversation, and I'm trying to figure out how to say it without saying it. But we had a conversation recently about I was surprised you hadn't done something yet. And your response was in essence because you were worried about the care of your customers. And it was such a sweet response, and it just speaks so much to how much you literally just eat, sleep, and breathe this, like taking care of these people. And so I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of how far you guys have come. It's really a cool thing. And everyone watching, you need a CRM, you need a website, whatever. Like this is where you go. Like this is the guy you go to.
Thank you, Jared. Appreciate it. Hey, you guys, thank you all for joining us on a Friday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next month at the advance.